right, so we are here with the dojo man himself. You call yourself what is the term you call yourself on the dojo?
Well, Master Sensei is what I'm known.
Master
what
Sensei,
I'm known as. Yeah.
Master Sensei Eric Guttormson.
Yeah.
Man, thank you for joining us, bud.
Wow, thanks for having me, man.
No, it was awesome. I was on your show a while back and I loved it. I thought it was a good time. And so, yeah, I thought now was as good a time as any, so we can talk about all the things you got going on in dojo, and then the Cigar of the Year time coming around. So,
Yeah.
So give us for the listeners and viewers that aren't familiar with Cigar Dojo, give us like a quick, what is Cigar Dojo?
Okay. Yeah, it's a good question.
Yeah.
So the dojo's been around. We're coming up on 12 years. This in 2024 to be 12 years. We have a few different entities that sort of make up the Cigar Dojo. The main one is cigardojo.com, where we do mainly reviews of cigars and do some cigar news and stuff. And it's sort of like the hub for everything, cigardojo.com. And then we have, the thing I think that we're most sort of known for, which is our app. Nowadays, that's on dojoverse.com, which is it's a social app. Think of like Facebook or Twitter, except for it's for cigar smokers. You can check into cigars. You can earn belts and badges. And, if you smoke a lot of a certain type of cigar, you'll become like a Maduro maniac, that kind of a thing. And so people are on there 24/7 checking into their favorite cigars and being silly. It's a really fun community. That's basically where the Cigar Dojo community resides. And we've been doing that for a long, long time as well, since I don't know, just about as long. We're coming as the dojo itself. We started that like 6 months after we started the website. And then we have two podcasts. One is Wednesday night, which is called Flavor Odyssey. And that's a cigar pairing show, which is hosted by Robbie Raz and Randy Griggs. Jordan and I are kind of like in the background on that show. And Jordan produces that show, Cigar Dojo, as a Cigar Dojo production. And then on Friday night, Smoke Night Live, that's sort of my main podcast that we've been doing for a long, long time. We just did our 400th episode.
Wow,
a couple weeks ago. Yeah, it's crazy. And then finally, the last sort of little thing we do is we do some collaborations, cigar collaborations with companies, obviously like the Drew Estate, Underground Dogma. We did, we've done, I don't know, 24 or so. Our most recent one we can talk about later is the Sober Mesa Brulee Wagashi that we did with Steve Saka. So that's sort of like an overview of all of the crazy things that the dojo is. And of course, we get to go to events and see cool people like you and hang out with you too.
That's the best part of events is we get to hang out with our buddies all the time, like you guys. So what did you do before the dojo?
Yeah, so
the
dojo. So I've always been doing internet stuff pretty much my whole life. Well, as long as the internet's been around. I was a graphic artist. Did a lot of that kind of stuff. And then when the internet came along, I started doing some SEO consultant type work, social media consultant type work. I ended up working for NASCAR for like 10 years. And somewhere in the middle of all of that, we had the idea to start the dojo. And so here we are.
That's cool. So yeah, this is so this was in your expertise in terms of SEO and web design and web development and that kind of stuff. So that's cool.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, Eric, because what happened was me and Jordan and a couple other guys started smoking cigars, getting really into it. And
that was what my question was going to be. When did the cigars kind of come into it?
Yeah, it wasn't long before that, right? Like but I'm kind of one of those guys that I can't like do anything halfway. Like if I start to do something, if I like it, I typically go crazy, which drives my wife nuts. But so I was really getting into into premium cigars, and we started a website called quickcigarreviews.com. And the idea there was, it was just this, like a little passion project that me and Jordan were doing. And we just wanted to do like little quickie reviews of cigars, almost to just track what we were smoking. Really, it wasn't that big of a deal. But that site actually started to kind of catch on and get noticed by people and get some decent traffic. But we didn't like that name, quickcigarreviews.com. It just was too clumsy. And so Jordan actually came up with the Cigar Dojo name, and we decided, hey, let's, if we're gonna do this and if it's gonna kind of get some traction, let's do it the way we want. And so that's how the Cigar Dojo was born.
But why Dojo was Jordan doing? By the way, for people who don't know, Jordan is Eric's son,
right?
And so was Jordan doing like martial arts or something?
No, actually, was
it just like a platform where you could name a bunch of because it's perfect for what you guys use it.
Right. So the idea was, we thought, like, what is a name that kind of represents like a place of like learning and community, and like, like this, we're going to learn from our viewers and they're going to learn from our web visitors. And we wanted to have some type of community, because I ran a lot of big internet communities in the past. So that was sort of my expertise, is like online communities. And so we knew we wanted to do that. We didn't really know what it was going to look like. And so that was the decision for the idea of dojo, like a place of like community, people coming together, learning, and that kind of thing.
Very cool. So you are Master Sensei. What is Jordan's title?
Jordan is Sumatra Samurai. Now, I have to say, I never intended to be Master Sensei. How that happened was, we made that logo, right? The logo of the dojo, which is like the guy smoking a cigar.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. And his name was, we called him Master Sensei, that icon. And then over the years, people just started calling me that, because they thought that was me. And I mean, they didn't think it was me, but they thought that was my moniker. And it's really weird now, because like, 12 years later, I go to an event or something and people just call me that. And it's just become kind of my name,
Yeah, it's taking on a life of its own.
Yeah, right.
That's great. That's awesome, man. I love that stuff. So we kind of skipped past, you mentioned Saka earlier. What are you smoking right now?
I am actually trying, because me and Jordan are in a big, this is it, where we start to buckle down for the year-end stuff. And
which we'll get
so
to.
we're going through a ton of cigars again, trying them again, give them another try. What do we think? Does this belong in the list? Does it not belong in the list? This happens to be the Caldwell Long Live the Queen.
Cool. Yeah, I smoked one of those with Robert in Germany at Dortmund. I thought it was great. The branding,
it's a little stronger than I imagined. But yeah, we got a ton of research to do. So we'll be smoking all kinds of.
We've been at it pretty hard, and we'll get to that topic in a second. I am smoking a Sobremesa Brûlé Blue.
Ooh, okay.
So that kind of ties into to what you mentioned earlier, and we'll get to. But on the show that wraps around this interview, we smoked the Stillwell Star. We smoked the Navy 1056. Have you ever smoked the Stillwells?
Yeah, I've smoked the holiday edition last year, which I really liked a lot. And I can't remember which of the blue ones. I've had a couple of those, and not exactly up my alley, but I thought they were really good. And but I thought the holiday edition was really good. So
the Stillwell, part of the reason why we did it on the podcast is we can't really ever put it in the magazine other than in a pairing or something, because it has pipe tobacco in it, so it's not a premium cigar per se, but it is a premium cigar. So it's kind of like it creates a problem in that way for us, but we like it. I enjoy the cigar. I think it's a unique flavor profile, and it's so well executed that we wanted to do something with it, and so we put it on the podcast. Do you guys have you guys ever rated it? Any of the Stillwells?
Yeah, we actually
have that dilemma because it's a little bit different what you guys and what we do, because ours is in print and we have these like sort of rules that we made for ourselves and we try to follow.
Right.
But online on a website, you can just kind of add a line that says this is
yeah.
you have the flexibility.
Right. Last year, the holiday Stillwell was our unconventional cigar of the year.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, and we added that. Every year we try to have what we call our exceptional awards, which is like 5, and it could be anything. It could be man of the year, it could be factory of the year. Succeed. Yeah, just something that stood out. Those
serial killer.
those things, superlative. Yeah, those things stood out in the year. If there's something that stands out,
Yeah.
And we also did review, I think, Jordan, didn't we? Yeah, we did a little brand overview. I didn't write this article, but we did a brand overview of the Stillwell Stars, where we talked about each one, the aromatic number 1, the English 27, the whole thing, and we rated each individual one in that one single article. So yeah, we have covered that.
Cool. Yeah, like I said, for us it was unique, and we do the show with Jim, who smokes a lot of cigars, but he's not at the geek level in the cigar world as you and I and Ivan and Jordan, and so it's always cool to give him a cigar that is gonna come out of kind of out of left field for a premium cigar,
right?
So anyway, that was cool. So you mentioned earlier the Saka project. What was that? So and I happen to be smoking the Burley Blue, which we did not coordinate ahead of time. I just happened.
No.
I knew that I wanted to smoke something from Saka on this show, but tell us about that project and how that it's called the what was it? Wabash? What is it?
The Wagashi. Wagashi is sort of it's a Japanese term for like a dessert, right? Like kind of like a dessert. And we'd been trying to do a cigar with Steve for quite some time. And just for whatever reason, it hadn't worked out. And then a couple of years ago, Steve was like, okay, I think I finally have something in my mind that would be cool to do with you guys. And so obviously we were all ears at that point. And so normally how this works when we do collaborations with companies is, we'll be a part of the blending process. And when I say part of the blending process, I don't mean, that we're actually blending the cigars, but they're sending us blends. We're saying, oh yeah, we like this, but we wish it was a little stronger, a little weaker, whatever. And then we kind of like eventually end up on a blend. And then usually me and Jordan will do the branding on it, and we'll even design the packaging and the logos and the bands and all that kind of stuff. That's usually kind of how it works. In this case, this is pretty much all Steve. There's no getting around it. And that's fine with me. This is the way he wanted to do it. He's like, hey, I've got this idea. I want to go with it. And
even the name.
Even the name. Yeah, he had the name. So it's based on the blue, which you're smoking. But this is basically a softbox press. It's somewhere, some people describe it as being, it's very much like the blue. It's a little bit of a bigger of a cigar. I would say it might be, there's a little bit more to it. It's a little bit more elegant or complex, I think. But those are both. I love the brulee, but obviously I'm biased to our version of it, which is the Wagashi. And then Abe, the Babnut Smoke In, he was going to be the retail partner on this, and he was like, "Hey guys, instead of just coming up with an amount, say we're going to sell 500 boxes or something, on this project, since it's probably going to be pretty popular because we have the dojo involved and we have Steve involved, which and then Smoke Inn's community involved. There's a lot of pieces there. Let's just do a pre-order." And so we did instead of doing a set amount at the beginning, we did a pre-order, and it ended up being massive. We sold about 3 times what I predicted that we would sell. Awesome. And then just recently, the pre-order was in April, and then the delivery was just in November. We went and did an event in Boynton with Steve and Abe, and the boxes now are showing up on. Well, most of them are sent, and people are smoking them and loving them. And it turned out to be one of probably our most successful project we've ever done.
Congrats, man. I love that. I was looking at the images of it here. Yeah, it looks like a beefier, soft pressed version of the Burley Blue.
Right.
But, yeah. I have to ride up to Smoke Inn and see if I can steal one from Abe.
Well, I can send you some, my friend.
Is that how that works?
You know a guy. I know a guy.
I would love that. It looks delicious. So congrats on that, man. That's amazing. And so what is down the line on that? You have next stuff lined up, or you're just like basking in the flow of the success of this one?
So this one all along, Steve knew that will eventually be a national product. So this will eventually show up in all retail outlets that carry his stuff at some point. The initial launch was exclusive through Smoke Inn, but yeah, this will be a national product similar to the Blue.
And it will continue to have the Cigar Dojo, that little logo that you put on there.
Right. The only difference, right? The only difference at all is if you were part of the pre-order, there was a really cool challenge coin that you got for being one of the first to get your hands on it. But other than that, it'll be the exact same cigar, same sub band with says Cigar Dojo and all that kind of stuff. So yeah,
very cool, man. That's amazing. So now we can get to what everyone's here for, which is to talk about Cigar of the Year. You guys put together a list. We put together lists. Other entities put together lists, and so what are the release dates? Do you know the release dates of your list? Do you know when you're making that release, and what does that look like normally?
Yeah, we've changed it over the years. Last year, I think it came out. I don't know. Do you remember, Jordan, when it came out last year? Yeah, it's like first or second week of January. We try not to make it go too long because I know after a while you just people get sick of the lists, right? And so
you get list fatigue.
Yeah. So if we stretch it out too long, that kind of ruins it. So it'll probably be around the after the first of the year.
Yeah, we do the same thing. I'm looking here. It looks like the post for it, you put it on January 4th, which is probably around the same days that we do it too. So yeah, we're in the same boat. We've always wanted to wait till January to do it. One, because that's when the new issue comes out with that information in it. But the other is that we just need the time because so we smoke so many damn cigars. And at the same time, we also have a regular magazine that we're smoking ratings for. So how does the process go for you guys with the Cigar of the Year? So is there any difference between the way you do those ratings and the way you do the regular ratings during the year?
So yeah, actually, that's a great question. A couple things. We've always been a big proponent of that the Cigar of the Year should be a cigar that was released that year. Now, I know not every list is that way, and that's fine. Everybody can do their own thing. But for us, we sort of think of it as like the Academy Awards, right? Like what movies came out that year, like which one should be recognized from that year. So we've always done it that way. That can make it kind of tricky because obviously there's some cigars that come out late, a lot of cigars hit August, September, October. But in our opinion, it doesn't really matter as long as we get a chance to smoke enough of them to feel comfortable with where that would place. Doesn't mean that we have to have reviewed it on our website that year. We have a panel of guys. So obviously me and Jordan, Robbie and Randy that host Flavor Odyssey. One of our reviewers is Scott Braband, who does a lot of reviews for us. So we have got sort of like a team of guys, Chad from Virginia, and we all, go through these lists of cigars, ranking them, arm wrestling about which is better, that kind of thing. And then we try to whittle it down to what we think are the best ones of the year.
Yeah. And so, that's nice to not have to, in our world, we do, cigars that were rated during the year. But we do a flavor of what you do in that if the cigar was released during that year, it gets a bump in the rating. And so for the same basic idea, right, is that, we want to have the newly released cigars that are exceptional to be at the top. But sometimes, there's a cigar that's tried and true that, as we all know, cigars change. Cigars, by batch, by year, by any number of factors. And sometimes they smoke better, some years than others. So that's it's very interesting. I like the person in the OCD in me likes the idea of only doing it with cigars that were released that year. I like that. But yeah, this is the.
I always felt, Eric, like I always felt. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I always felt like when I first got into cigars and I started, I didn't know what I really liked. So you look at these lists, right? And some of the lists, it'd be like, there's this Cuban, I can't get my hands on it. Yeah. I don't know what year that's from. Like, obviously it's a cigar that's been out for maybe 80 years or something, what I don't know what box that's from or how to get that one that's really good. And so when we eventually came around to doing our list, I always said to myself, hey, I want a list that a guy could take, a cigar fanatic could take, and he could actually go get these cigars, or at least have a reasonable shot at getting them. I mean, I know some of them are sold out or whatever, but for the most part, you could go out and you could find these at a brick and mortar near you, or maybe you could order it online, and then you could try it and see if you feel like it's, if you also like it like we do. So we always kind of called our list like the Joe 6-pack list. Like, hey, if you're a cigar smoker, you can take our list and go out and get these.
Yeah, well, and in that way, I think our lists are very similar in that we don't rate limited editions that you're not going to be able to get. So we exclude limiteds from that. We exclude. Sometimes we've had a few slip by, but we exclude like store exclusives.
Right.
So we don't want something that's only available to a certain small pocket of people. So our idea is the same. Like, the list should be actionable, because what did we go through this entire effort for if it's not, so that the guy can actually buy it and smoke it and compare his thoughts to ours. And so, it's a similar idea to the way that you guys put it together. So that's cool. I always knew we were more similar than just our name.
Just our names. We are the two best looking Erics in the industry, I'm pretty sure.
It always has to be said.
Yeah.
Or maybe it doesn't have to be said. You just
it's just everybody,
and you say, yep, clearly the two best looking Erics. I'm excited about your list. I'm gonna be I'm going to be glued to the dojo site. What I've never gone onto is the app. I've never been. Man, we're so damn busy and constantly. If I was to report how many cigars I smoke on the app, I'm not joking. I think in a matter of a month, I'd be at the level of whatever the highest level is, because it's so absurd the amount that we smoke. Especially
the app, it is fun because it's sort of set up to where, you don't go back and add, cigars that you've smoked in the past. It's just, what you're smoking, you check into it, you give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down. And now you'd say, oh, just thumbs up or thumbs down. Like that's the only rating. So our rating on the app.
Would I buy it again or would I not? Is that
it's kind of like, is this good? Is this one good or is it not good? It's more like in the sense of like Rotten Tomatoes. Like, we just want to, from the community, because like everybody's has a different idea of what a 90 is or what an 80 is. Like some people, like an 80 might be a fantastic cigar, right? And then to some other user, an 80 might be not very good. So just for the app itself, now on our website, cigardojo.com, we have a regular 100-point scale. In fact, just today we reviewed the Crux Epicure Habano. Loved that cigar, gave it a 92. But on the app, it's just thumbs up or thumbs down. And that kind of just gives you like an overall feel of what the community feels about this. So if a cigar has like a 82% smokable rating, that has a fair amount of thumbs downs. And that doesn't mean that the next time you smoke it, you might give it a thumbs up, like, right? Like you get different experiences each time. And so that's kind of the idea behind, keeping the rating simple on the app so that it's not overly confusing. It's just, hey, did I like it or did I not like this smoking experience?
That's cool. So I'm gonna get on there and start to record what I do there. See what it feels like. I've not used it, and we've talked about it a bunch of times, but I never get around to doing it. But I will now. So how do people find? So it's cigardojo.com.
Yeah, so I'll tell you what happened was, for the longest time we had an app, a regular app in the App Store,
That's
and
what
the
we
app,
talked about.
yeah, and then several years back, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5, Apple started kicking out all the tobacco related apps or cigar related apps, because there are other tobacco apps that are still in there. But and so then at that point we knew the handwriting was on the wall. I didn't like the idea, because we were right at the point where we were going to do a big upgrade on the app and spend some pretty serious money doing some upgrades on the app. But when Apple started poo-pooing cigar related apps, we said, okay, this can't go on anymore. So what we ended up doing was redeveloping the app from the ground up. Now it's a progressive web app, which means if you go to your phone and you go to dojoverse.com, it comes up as an app. And if you just save the icon to your home screen like you do, it functions exactly like an app. You'd never know it wasn't an app. But we aren't beholden to Google or Apple or YouTube or any other entity. We can do whatever we want with our app, and it's great. It gives us a bunch of freedom, and we've been able to add some really cool features since then, like checking into cigars and that kind of stuff, earning belts and badges. There's a cool leaderboard on there that kind of shows like what's popular today, what's popular this week, what's popular this month, as far as a cigar or a brand are concerned. And so that's kind of fun to like track that. Like if you see like when Wagashi came out, like when our cigar Wagashi came out, you could notice that like Dunbarton's brand, shot up the leaderboard. And so that kind of stuff is fun to track, just to see like, how does this affect, the community as a whole? And we're talking about, tens of thousands of people. So it's a pretty big pool of data that we're looking at. And so we can see when like Pete Johnson comes out with something, like how it affects his brand. You can actually sort of see him climbing the ladder and that kind of stuff.
Very cool, man. Very cool. So it's cigardojo.com, dojoverse.
So yeah, the app is dojoverse.com. So dojoverse.com. And
what about the social medias? You got those out there?
Oh yeah, we're on all the socials, Instagram, Twitter, X, I guess you call it nowadays, Facebook. It's all Cigar Dojo at Cigar Dojo.
You know what my only problem? I use X or Twitter, but when someone sent a update, you would send a tweet. Right. Now what do you do? I sent an X. People still refer to them as tweets because I don't know if that's been worked out by Elon.
I still call them those. I do too. Yeah. What is it? An X? I don't even know.
If anybody knows, please help me out. What do you call that? I sent if it's no longer a tweet, what is it? So anyway, thank you, brother. Thank you for your time. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thank you for everything that you do. That's really fun. Check their site out, cigardojo.com and dojoverse.com. And we'll talk to you soon, man. I'll see you at the next one.
Eric, we got to get you back on Smoke Night Live, my friend. That was such a good episode when you were on there. I know
the ratings dropped after because everybody was like, "Oh, this guy's not back on again."
No, that was a ton of fun, man.
I'll do it whenever you guys want.
All right, cool. We'll get you back on. We really appreciate you having me on today. It means a lot to me. So thank you guys so much. We love. I always kind of felt like of all the other media stuff, like reading your year-end list and obviously the stuff that you guys produce in the magazine. I've been a subscriber forever. To me, that's my favorite. That's my favorite magazine by a mile. And so we love what you guys do. We follow everything you guys do.
Really appreciate it. And thanks again. And I'll see you soon. All right. Thanks for watching Cigar Snob on YouTube. If you enjoyed that, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to check out more of our content, go to the channel and you'll see mail time videos, podcasts, interviews with cigar insiders, and photo shoots with smoking hot models. And if you want even more Cigar Snob in your life, we will print a magazine and ship it straight to your house. It's a crazy idea, I know, but we're trying this out. Cigarsnob.com to do that. And otherwise, we'll see you later.